Hi everyone, thank you for joining us once again. We decided today to do things a little bit differently. So we're bringing the beauty of Waterkloof to your screen. So our theme for today is focusing on the biodiversity here at Waterkloof. Christiaan will be joining me and we'll be showing you the different plant species that we have here on the farm. And then we're going to be tasting some wine, the Circle of Life White 2016, which is our blend, and then also the Circumstance Chenin Blanc. So 2 white wines for a beautiful day like today. There's no wind, it's just relaxed. And yeah, if you have any questions, we're going to be live at 5:30 South African time when we're airing this. And then you can ask any questions for myself or for Christiaan about the biodiversity, about the wines. You can send it through on Instagram, on Facebook, and we'll be answering it live directly as it happens to make sure that you're not kept in suspense. Great, so enjoy. Okay, so we're talking about biodiversity here at Waterkloof today, and Christiaan, can you tell us what does biodiversity mean and what does Waterkloof do to keep the status that we have?
So Waterkloof is a biodiversity and wildlife champion. All the natural areas which is not planted vineyards is a voluntary conservation site, which means we protect the indigenous fauna and flora of the Schapenberg. And biodiversity is basically all your indigenous plant and wildlife species that exist in this area.
And how many species have you seen on the farm? You've seen a lot.
We've burnt a veld in 2009 and we counted 111 species in one season. But that was only one season, the late summer, so different seasons you'll even get more. But we've counted 111 species just in this area. And it's well known that there's more diversity of plant life in the Western Cape, in the Renosterveld and the granitic fynbos than in the whole Northern Hemisphere. So it's a big diversity.
That's incredible. And now we're in May, so the flowers are just starting to bloom now. Are we going to see a lot of fynbos now or not so much?
Well, some of the proteas and tallbos will start to come out. I can see the bees. We keep a lot of bees on the farm. We farm with bees. And I see they're quite active, so we might see some proteas starting to open, but most of the species are still dormant. So.
Okay, and then here at Waterkloof we're offering walks as well for people to come and experience the beauty of the farm. So once lockdown is finished, then you can contact us and we'll guide you through the property again. So as we're walking around looking for plants, Christiaan brought us up here, which is just the most insane view, and we found this. Christiaan, what is this?
Yeah, so that's a Maltese cross made by the Dutch East India Company when they do their maps up here. But next week we'll talk a bit about the history of Waterkloof. So I won't delve too much into it now. Okay, so here we've got what we call kooigoed, or the Xhosa call it mpepu. It's a medicinal plant. If you smell it, it relaxes you. So we use it when we train the horses. We mix this with a bit of sandalwood, put it inside the horses' noses and they relax. In the olden days they used to stuff their bedding with this because it's nice to sleep on, keeps the bed bugs away. But in biodynamics we use it to replace chamomile and to create sort of a harmonious atmosphere when we do our compost and things like that. And then right behind you we've got some bitubos. And although we don't use the bitubos in the biodynamics, it's a fantastic fodder plant. So sometimes when our goats come past here, quite a high protein value in the bitubos.
Okay, so we're standing here right behind the building of Waterkloof, and Christiaan will tell us more why we're standing here and what's happening here, Christiaan.
Yeah, so this is our conservation area. 50% of the farm must always stay natural vegetation. And with all the different species that you've got some real interesting things. So this is a tall boss, and you can actually see the male of the male behind here, with a small little proteus and the female, always together. So where the one comes up, the other one comes up. Underneath you've got some wild rosemary, which obviously you can eat. It's medicinal. We make a lot of our biodynamic preparations from these plants because it is medicinal. But why there's fynbos here, and the type of soil. Now we're standing here on granitic soil, so it's granitic fynbos, these species. And what happened was, in the olden days, millions of years ago, the topsoil would have been 100 meters above our head. That is where we would have walked. But over thousands of years, that is eroded away down the valley. And what has happened as water has pushed up, which has then brought up iron deposits to the soil, which is actually what you can see, this little coffee clip, which is iron deposits. And as the soil of the water drained away, it washed out all the lime. So the soil became very acidic, and your woodier, shrubbier type of plants could then grow, which is then fynbos.
Do we have coffee clip in a lot of the vineyard blocks as well?
Yeah.
Which ones?
So we've got two types of soil, which is obviously the very sandy, broken down granites. Those are the ones with the coffee clip. That would be where the Shiraz is a little bit over to the Sauvignon Blanc, but mostly the Shiraz, the Mourvedre, the Grenache, those areas. Yeah.
So it gets a little bit more heat for the red varietals.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So driving up to the winery, Christiaan, I saw you took on a new project, a lot of new beehives. So how many do you have, and when can I get some honey?
Yeah, so we've got 13 hives, beehives on the farm, Langstroth hives, and it started out as a hobby. We always see the wild bees flying over and migrating to the farm, so we just put out some boxes, caught a couple of swarms,
cool.
And there's ample honey for you whenever you need some. So.
Because it's good to eat the honey from the area that you live for your hay fever,
That's
eh?
right,
Yeah, it's very good. And then I see you've planted some more fynbos on the property. What's the concept behind that?
Yeah, so in 2009 we started to expand on the landscaping, and we started to use indigenous fynbos. So we collected our own seeds and stuff, and we planted fynbos to create corridors. So in the Western Cape you have all the vineyards and pockets of fynbos, and what we decided is to link those pockets so it's one flowing area. Where the wild animals can move. So if you drive here early in the morning or in the evenings, we would find the porcupines and caracals, and they're in the road, and they can move in between these areas.
Okay.
And because we don't spray any pesticides or herbicides, what we did is we started to release natural predators in the vineyards to control mealybug.
Yes.
So coccy's, permanitas, little wasps and ladybirds.
Yeah.
And when the vineyard goes dormant and the fynbos starts to go into flower, which would be winter, then the natural predators actually breed in these areas and then migrate to the vineyards in spring. And then we've got always a healthy population of natural predators to control pests in the vineyard.
And when did you first start to put natural predators into the vineyard?
We started about 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And then we would do about almost 60,000 rand worth of predators a year.
Yeah.
And that has slowly gone down in numbers just because they are breeding on the farm.
That's incredible, eh? Yeah.
And you would know if you've seen a mealybug or anything coming into the vineyard.
No, we don't. We definitely don't. I mean, in the beginning a little bit of mealybugs.
Yeah.
But in the vineyard, in the winery now, no mealybugs.
Clean,
So it's incredible.
So the system works.
Yeah, the natural predators building up.
Circle of life.
Yeah. Okay, so I chose the Circle of Life White for today, which is our blend of Sauvignon Blanc and Chenin Blanc. That will always be the foundation of the blend. So it's a co-fermentation of the two varietals. The Sauvignon Blanc coming from this south-facing slope, and the Chenin Blanc will be from the different pockets here on the property. So blend changes year in, year out, but this is a lovely versatile wine that just goes with so many different dishes. And the label just, it emphasizes the whole idea of going back to basics, going back to the vineyard, about incorporating everything that we spoke about today and making sure that we're putting more life into our soil.
Yeah.
So cheers.
Walking through the fynbos and
Yeah.
having this wine in my hand and smelling the aromas, let me tell you, I can't wait.
Yeah. Okay, then I'm pouring our Circumstance Chenin Blanc 2019. So this is currently our most widely planted white varietal on the property. So Chenin Blanc, we've got a few, it is our most widely planted varietal for the white. So we've got a few different pockets that we're using. Christiaan, you can tell us maybe about the different pockets because it's so diverse, the different blocks that we have.
Yeah.
So soil-wise, what soils are we looking at?
So yeah, it's almost on the transitional line where you go from broken granites to very compacted sandstone. So it is broken granite, sandy soils, but the clay layer underneath is actually very nutritious. It's got that nice red clay underneath. So it's high potential soils.
Yeah.
But with the way that we farm, we obviously keep the growth and everything in check. And it's all bush vines.
Yeah.
So a lot of balance in the vineyards. 300 meters above sea level, very cool slopes, very close to the ocean.
Yeah.
And it all plays to create this very
Fresh.
beautiful Chenin.
It's a very fresh style of Chenin Blanc. Winemaking wise, we press it whole bunch. We sometimes get a little bit of botrytis coming through, so we keep that in. Pressed in a basket press. And then, we just put it to barrel and voila. We left this for about 9 months in barrel. We don't stir up the lees. Take it out, give it a basic filtration and put it to bottle. And there you go.